Want to get into some deeper questions here with you. Those were just some fun questions which I actually quite enjoyed. How, and this is dealing, and remember guys, we are on marriage series today, they'll be talking to us about their marriage, but also what they've learned along the way that will be able to help you, help us. Okay, so and my questions is coming from different angles. In terms of personal insecurities, how did you or do you deal with your personal insecurities? Not with each other, but personal.
Personal insecurities. That's a tough question. How do I deal with my personal insecurities?
Like for example, if I have a personal insecurity about something in my life, or could be body, outer, I find if I don't handle it well, it can actually have an impact negatively on the relationship. So in that sense, because we can enter a relationship and we might have not have dealt with some of our different personality things that and when we enter that relationship, if we don't handle it well, it can actually have a negative impact on the relationship.
Okay, understand you.
Yes.
To be quite honest, any insecurities that I would have entered the marriage with,
yes,
I would have ended up sharing them with him,
yes,
and he would have helped me to
Very
overcome
good.
them. So I can't say that I handled them well on my own.
Yes.
I actually don't think I handled them well on my own at all, actually. But
Yes.
he has helped me significantly in overcoming those things and building myself up and my perception
Yes.
of myself in those insecure areas.
I think that's really good, and that's really how it should be, and that's kind of like what I want to hear, so that people can know that you can enter with, but the person that you're with should be a person that can help you in those areas, because what is the husband? Husband is a cultivator,
Right.
and so he is to help cultivate all those great, amazing, wonderful things in you and out of you. Yes, and what about you?
Myself, I have to ask my wife. I don't think I
He's very confident. That's very good.
I think he's very sure of himself. I
Yes.
don't say he's overly confident or anything, but I can't say that there is anything that the only thing that I can think of is that he wants to make sure that he has a haircut every 2 weeks.
So you see, that is an insecurity, my friend. Okay, let's get it together here now. I'm like, what? He doesn't have any at all? Oh my goodness, because I mean, for my husband, my husband has, a lot of people will not know this obviously, but my husband balding is more like in the middle of his head, which you have to be seeing him from behind.
Right.
Where my guess for yours is more from the front.
Yes.
correct.
So naturally, if it's from the front, you more see that. So if my husband has a haircut, you would never know that he's actually balding from the middle.
Right.
When his hair is growing in now, I'm like, babe, you're gonna do something. When you turn around, everybody's gonna see this. This is looking horrible. But we can joke about it now, because obviously, like you said, you kind of like work together and building up each other. So we joke about it now. When he would show me, he would say, oh wow, let's do something about it. Because when you see that thing from behind, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So that is an insecurity, and you definitely, I mean, you don't like, not helping the person would be like if you tease them about it, and it doesn't, that's not good.
Right.
That's why I say it can have a negative impact on the relationship, instead of helping them and have a fun joke
Correct.
about it. Once the person is not, if the person has not conquered that in themselves, would become like more confident in that area, then you can't tease at that point.
Right.
You really
Right.
cannot. But once they're confident, once you've helped them to become confident, let them know it's nice. Look at you. You've got a bald head, but does it take away from your face?
It won't not.
Does it take away from your personality? None of that.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? But it's okay for myself to say that, or your wife, but it's for yourself now have to believe
To
that.
be confident, yeah, exactly.
To be confident in it. Then we can then joke about it, like, oh,
Exactly.
we're here now joking
Exactly.
about it, you know.
Right, and
So-
on my wife's side, like one of the things that I would say as well is in trying to build her up or dealing with the insecurities that should have brought me, a lot of understanding had to take place because before we were married, like my my demeanor was always like, I know on that person, like, I best deal with that issues, but
Yes.
marriage has a way of
Oh, yes.
you know
Sensitizing.
Yeah.
yes, sensitizing to another person's perspective and feelings and what have you, and
Absolutely.
once you're trying to please the person and love the person, you will kind of shape your thinking in order to help them
Yes.
along, you know.
Yes, I completely agree. How do you deal? I love that question. I'm going back. Do you guys make decisions together? Who takes the lead in making decisions in your marriage?
I can't say it's any one person. I think it depends on what it is because
right.
we take the lead on different aspects.
Correct.
So when it comes to finances, I would more lean towards what do you want us to do? What do you
Yes.
think we should do?
Yes.
When it comes to more spiritual things, he would more ask me what I think we should do.
Yes.
So I think it goes more in terms of
Who's
who's stronger in that particular
Correct.
area.
Mhm.
That would determine who kind of makes a final decision. But for all decisions, we kind of make them together.
Together. In terms of finances or who takes the lead, even with the kids, you guess you make decisions as well with the children are concerned.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. I mean, I always say the Bible says that we should work accordingly. We should
Exactly.
dwell accordingly. So, who's strong in what? My husband have no problem if I'm strong in this area.
Okay,
Go ahead.
Exactly.
If you're strong, because that's what makes marriage beautiful.
Right.
Now you say, I am man, hear me roar. The Bible says submit. No, that becomes control.
But,
You see what I mean?
But that's exactly what it is. Like me and Shaka were talking at the time, and it's about what is best for the relationship. Not what's
Yes.
best for me as an individual, what's best for
Yes.
her, but it's
That's right.
making a decision of what is best for the relationship. So whoever has for lack of a better, whoever has the better perspective to make the relationship better, that's who we try to lean with.
That's very good. In terms of submission, because I like how this question just follow right in terms of submission in marriage, how challenging or not so challenging was it for you to yield to what the Bible says that wife submit to husband? How challenging or not so was it for you? So now this will be a wife question.
I guess I did not think it was challenging until I realized.
I like that. I love that. You know what? Honesty is the key here,
I
guys.
did not think it was challenging until I realized what real submission is. So, you know, you have these habits that you come up with for all these years, and you think it's normal behavior, but when it comes to things like just attitude and talking back, and I don't think that makes no sense, and you know, like things that you would do on a normal basis.
Yes.
And you not think that is not being submissive, but then as you learn more and you understand more, then you realize you can't have that kind of behavior with your husband. So I think it is a process.
Yes, it is.
Just like Christianity is a process. There are certain things that you would start with that you would start to fall off. So as I said, I don't think that I thought it was challenging initially until I realized I really need to not do that anymore. I really need to, you know, this is not what God expects of me. So
I'm not going to ask you the same question. In terms of when the Bible talks about that the husband should love the wife as Christ loved the church, what does that mean for you, and how do you embrace that in your marriage?
First of all, one of the things that I did was first find out the definition of love. How does Scripture define love? And is in Corinthians 13, and when it explained, love is patient, love is long suffering, and the whole nine yards. So I try to know that way we have our arguments and our disagreements, and when I start to get frustrated, love sees the best in all things, does not hold on to hurt and anger. So I try to always, when it's becoming tough to show love, I always try to go back to that scripture, and that kind of recenters me again, so that I could come here with the right attitude. Love is kind, so as long as I try to be kind and understand, and I try to treat her in the way that I would expect to be treated as. So I try to consistently maintain my showing of love for her.
Yes, and I like where the word said that we become one. If we become one, I'm not going to treat myself like this.
Exactly.
So that's really beautiful. Let's talk about intimacy. Did you, did the intimacy change in your marriage, or when you're dating or when you have like a little process of in the relationship, how you're like all doing all these amazing things, you love on each other, you're like nice and smooshy, but then you get married and all of a sudden it's like I can just relax. Did it change for you guys?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I mean, some of our friends and family be looking at us like, you guys, stop it. I mean, we're not indecent in public or anything, but we're very affectionate to each other, and I don't think that we lost anything in marriage, to be quite honest.
Why do you think for some people, because remember when I ask these questions, it's for us but also for persons who may be listening in this area, why do you think for some people that happens, like they just change? It's almost like they think, well, I'm married now, I don't have to do certain things. And I've actually heard people say that before. I'm married, so it's like they don't think they have to be the same fun, loving, and even intimacy as it relates to the bedroom. They change. They don't want to do certain acts. Guys, I'm blushing. But yes, they don't want to do certain acts. I mean, why do you think that happens?
The only thing I can think of is if they didn't start off as real, as genuine, that's the only way to me that it would change. If it was always genuine towards you when we were dating and when we were engaged, if that's just me, so why would it change when we get married? If I'm putting on a show just to get from point A to point B, then when they get to the goal, there's nothing motivating me to continue to try. So one thing that we always try to maintain was just being honest, being upfront, being genuine, and I think that's the reason why nothing really changed after, because we were just being us all along.
Yes, I think that's really beautiful what you said.
I would say though that there was an adjustment that needed to be made when I had my son.
Yes.
And I guess that is something natural for mothers to go through. Is an additional person that you have to pay attention to. Absolutely. You're more tired. You have hormone changes. So I wouldn't say that nothing changed at all, but outside of what I guess is naturally expected, then I would say no.
Yes, which I've heard. I mean, that's normal as far as I'm concerned, because I've heard and read mothers will state that after the baby, things change in the bedroom, or things change with my husband and I because you don't have a baby. So I'm expecting that husbands will be understanding in that case. It's not that you love them less, you desire them less. You just have a baby. So let's talk a little bit about the king and the queen. I usually hear people focus on the man treating his queen good. What about your king? What are some of the things you do to treat your king good? Because as you remember in the word, Sarah called her husband Lord. By the way, I don't know if I can be looking at my husband saying, Lord. I don't know if I can do that. But I mean, I understand it in its context and everything. But what are some of the things you do to make your husband feel that he is indeed the king?
I think it's important to encourage them, continue to encourage, because I guess us females, because we tend to be more emotional, we tend to focus a lot on ourselves and not realize that the man does have feelings too. He does have needs too. Sometimes he might feel like he's tired as well and needs a little encouraging. So I think sometimes to just say, I think you're doing a really good job.
Yes.
I'm so proud of you.
Yes.
I think you've come really far.
Yes.
I'm really happy that you are. I'm happy to be led by you. You know,
Wow,
things like
that's
that.
a big one.
I think that things like
Mhm.
that kind of encourage them and give them that little push to
Mhm.
continue.
Yes.
And because it is a big responsibility
Yes,
to
it
have
is.
to lead a family, and also just remembering things that he likes, because we kind of expect the man to remember things that we like. So I like to try to remember the things that he likes. Like he
Yes.
likes when they rub his head.
So you see, always important to have that bald head.
So I try to remember that, like if you're just in bed, like watching TV or something,
Yes.
to just do things like that. Or I like to celebrate everything.
Yes.
So if he did a good job, like he's a personal trainer,
Yes.
so if he has a successful program, I like to encourage him.
Yes,
And
that's really good.
ask him about his day, how many
Mhm.
persons he had in your class today,
Yes.
things like that. So things like that I try to do to encourage him and help him to understand that I still thinking about
Of
you.
course,
And
of course. And even when we are confident in what we do and all of that, hearing it from our wives, the significant other, is just so
much
different.
more, yeah.
So
for sure.
different. You feel like you want to push
Even
more.
harder, yeah.
Yeah,
Correct.
so I think that's really good. So keep that up. And what about you? What are some of the things you do to make your lovely queen feel, not just special? Because I believe that you try your best to make sure she feels special every day. But there's always like the extra things that you can do. Like for her, she found her rhythm. What is your rhythm?
Honestly speaking, is a daily process. Every day is not the same. There are certain days where she will be going through something more spiritual or something more emotional, and I just have to read the situation and support her as much as I can in any way that she's down that particular day. So sometimes she has a tough day at work. Sometimes she's up praying at night and she's tired. Sometimes she doesn't. She just doesn't want to. After a long night dealing with the children or mornings getting ready for school. So I find it's a matter of just reading the situation and find out where you can fit in to ease any burden off of her as much as possible. So whether it is work, finances, or what have you, I just try to read the situation and give a little bit more in the times I need to and pull back a little bit more when I need to.
I don't have this question here, but while you were speaking, this question came to my heart. And especially now with her having a second baby, this is your second child with her. What are some of the things that you do to actually support her with this pregnancy? Because I think this is really important for husbands to hear another husband saying these things. It helps them, because sometimes in relationships, the man look at the wife and they think, well, you're the one carrying the baby, and they don't realize that the wife, the mother, is so much support that they need at this time.
To be honest, I think we had a lot of practice from the first pregnancy. The first pregnancy was tough on her, physically, emotionally, spiritually, and during that time she had a lot of other personal matters going on, like loss and death and what have you of a close family member as well. And during that time, I was working at the airport and I used to work shift. But what I used to do was work all early morning shifts. So I had the daytime off with her, because even something that's getting out of bed or sitting down in a chair or just getting up, it used to be painful. So I tried to be there all during the daytime, so that I could help her out the car, help her into bed, etc. So this pregnancy compared to that one, thank God, she's not having nearly as much physical pain as before. She still has her weaker moments where she will get these bad feels, but we figured out ways to try to work around it, and they just my natural mentality is as a problem solver. So we just try to figure out what I try to do, I try to read the situation, find out okay, she gets sick during this time and she doesn't eat by this time or whatever. So I just try to facilitate that process of her not becoming ill. So I know okay, if you don't eat every 3 hours, we just say shot, alright, we get something to eat now, it's time to eat, get something to drink, what you want, one on tea for you.
Wow, I love that.
Well, she carried my child, so
I know, but trust me, the man that's watching there, listening attentively.
Yeah, but she's But like even family, it starts with the queen and come down. So you have to make sure she's good, and it all trickles down from there.
So you would say then that for you, in your opinion, and based on what you just expressed to me, that the important thing is to be present and to be attentive.
Definitely.
Because like you said, if you can tell, okay, if you don't eat by 3 hours, you start to feel nauseous. Then if they're attentive, it's not necessarily they have to be like constantly, let me make sure. No, but if you're attentive, then your spirit begin to grow and understand that, okay, my wife need me this time, my wife need me that time.
Exactly.
Because when you're pregnant, you still don't necessarily want the person to be on you like.
Right, like she'll want her respirator and everything, right? It's just a matter of just giving her what she needs at the time necessary.
Awesome, I love that. You're a good husband.
Yes.
Try something.
Yeah, I know you try. And that's the important thing, to try.
Yeah,
None of us are perfect at this. I'm sitting here as a wife, I'm not perfect at this. It's a try every day, and I like what you guys said in the beginning. You try, you see what works, and you mold, and it's what works for the marriage.
Exactly.
Not about what works for me or what works for him, but for the marriage. So we have some questions from the viewers. Yeah. We have some questions from the viewers. So one person, I'm about to get married, but have a soul tie with my ex-boyfriend. Would this affect my marriage?
Indeed. Indeed, it would. A soul tie, that's a serious thing, and to move forward, I believe you need to break things off of you from the past in order to like really move forward and be prosperous in what you're moving forward.
Absolutely.
And so I think it will be important to make sure you get the counseling and deliverance as necessary in order to have a good chance at being successful in your marriage.
Absolutely. I love the part where you add that, get your deliverance. Okay, so if you're part of a church, a local church, get prayed for, get deliverance, get your healing, get that soul to be broken off of you, because believe me, it will indeed, as my sister said, will damage your new relationship. That's really good. So the other question is, what's the difference between submission and control?
I think submission is a matter of giving in when you realize that it is for a better purpose. Control is you trying to overwhelm the person by force and not necessarily by love. You try to overwhelm them by force and not necessarily doing what is necessarily best. But you're saying, as you said earlier, can you hear me roar? Is the attitude that goes behind it. To be honest with you, submission is a matter of you talking about you realize, okay, like this situation will be better, so let me come in line with this, as opposed to the person, coming down with a hammer saying, okay, you must do this. I decree that you are a woman and I am a head, so I am man, so you must do this.
That is control. Wonderful. So you guys heard it right here on the Nina Ear Show. Okay, don't come with a sledgehammer. Okay, so let's talk a bit about trust in marriage. Do you go in your relationship 100% trust, or trust is built as you go along?
I think it depends on where you start, because if you start with insecurities, trust is something that you would have to grow into.
Yes.
Not necessarily that it's not deserved, but you personally would have an issue if if you're not secure within yourself. So I think it depends on where you start, but I would say that as we continue in our relationship, trust has definitely grown and built more than where it was. But I think that's because I'm less insecure than I was when I started.
Oh wow, that's beautiful. That's a good answer.
No, she said it quite well.
No, I like that, because when we enter into a relationship, not that we don't trust the person totally, because why would you marry a person you don't trust? But I love the fact that it grows. And it can grow, and there's nothing wrong with that.
And I think sometimes we mistake believing someone for trust. Is two different. You can believe what someone says, but trusting someone also means trusting them with important aspects of your life as well. Like as she said, like she's more she grew quicker spirit more. She grew spiritually quicker than they did.
Yes.
So when it comes to certain things, I asked her. I trust her to guide me along the right path, as opposed to just I believe what you say, so no problem, right? Is a little bit trust a little bit deeper than just believing words from a person. Is trusting is knowing that the person is mature and developed enough to lead you down the right path.
Yes, I agree with you. The thing about it is that what I want you to understand as well is that when we say trust, we're not just saying trust in if you have a spouse that's going to cheat on you.
Exactly,
no, we're saying trust. Do I trust you with finances? Do I trust you with the kids?
Correct.
Do I trust you to help build a home? Do I trust you with my career? Do I trust you spiritually? Do I trust you to talk to me about health? Do I trust you? You see what I mean? So it's not one component. It goes with different. So I love the fact. So when we say that, we're not saying if you have you met someone, you're in a relationship, do I trust them? You gotta trust the person not to break your heart, too, of course. But I'm saying it's not just cheating. When people hear trust, they think cheating.
Exactly.
No, we're not talking about that, because you have to trust him with all these areas. I mean, what if you marry him and he was like all successful, but as soon as you marry, all of a sudden he's like, I'm just lazy here now, I'm not making any finances to support my family. You see what I mean?
Exactly.
Then you will start deducting from that trust. You might have trusted because you met him, solid in the financial area, and that's one area. Like I said, there's many different areas. But then you can say, okay, then the person become lazy or something. You're like, but wait a minute. But this is not the man that I married. I know women who've gotten into marriage based on the man saying, these are the things that I'm going to do. They get married. The man is still at the same position that the married. So and I'm sure by then in that marriage the trust went down.
Definitely. Yes.
Okay, so forgiveness in marriage. What are some things you would let slide as a forgiveness to your spouse for? And I list some things there: lying, emotional relationship, sexual infidelity, stealing from your purse, saying what's yours is mine. No, seriously, there are people, you guys, and people want to hear these things. There are people who go to their spouse first and say what's yours is mine, and take out lump sum of money, and then you're asking like, did you see my money? First of all, if you don't say about it, then you lie. You're a liar. You're a thief. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, to be honest, I took $10 from my husband bag yesterday. Okay, but I took the $10 and I went looking for something, my charger, and I saw the $10 and my husband always have like little money in his bag. I'm serious. I said, oh, $10. I said, okay, good, this is mine. But that's my husband. We have that type. So it's all about the type of relationship you have.
Correct.
We have that type of relationship. My husband is not even gonna miss that. I mean, seriously. So I just took it in front of his face and be like, oh look, I said, this is mine now. I went looking at your bag. This is mine. You see what I mean? So that is not stealing. But I say that to say that if I now took it and not say to my husband, when my husband look at me and be like, but babe, why did you not tell me? Depending on the relationship you have, then he might start deciding, you know what? I don't know if I'm going to forgive my wife for stealing from me. But that's stealing. It depends on how you look at it. So that's what I said. So this is not an ignorant question. It's actually good because there are people who stealing or not saying anything. So what are some things you would let slide? Like my husband would let that slide because come on, my wife took $10 from my bag, no big deal. You see what I mean? So what are some of the things? Lying. What if you have in a relationship with a person who lies constantly?
That is a tough one because then that brings up the trust issue.
Yes.
Because if you can't trust what the person is saying and this is who you're married to, then what can you do together?
What about emotional relationships? We're not talking sexual, where your spouse either one form a relationship with maybe an ex-boyfriend, girlfriend, or somebody they met well married, and they start taking things about themselves to that person, and then they start to form a bond with that person. Emotional relationship, these things happen. So these questions are not like far-fetched. These things happen. And here's the thing, a lot of people don't think that these are things that can interfere with your marriage and they're negative to your marriage and need to be kicked out. It's just a friend.
I mean, the emotional one, for me personally, I guess would be easier for me to forgive if it did happen.
Yes.
Because more so than the actual infidelity one. that just means like we always take the physical things a little more than the emotional hurt, you know. Stealing for me, that one I don't think will come into play for us because we don't have separate finances. Everything is one, so she can't steal from herself, you know. So the first one that you mentioned was
emotional.
No, no, before emotional. It was something else before that.
The sexual infidelity.
Right, sexual, emotional, stealing, lying, right, lying. That's a no-no for me, but it also a lot depends on the motives of it. Like sometimes a person may choose not to say something in order to keep the peace or not hurt the other person. I mean, not anything serious. Like I don't mean like laying like attitude on someone or anything, but I mean something like small things like along the way that person, okay, don't let me say anything about this, and it will help keep the peace. And if you find out, I mean, I understand that you may feel hurt, but the heart of the person is one that wanted to keep the peace, that wanted the best interest of the relationship. So the execution may not have been the best, but the motive behind it to me is just as important as the actual act. So that one is for me circumstantial.
Understand. I wanted to talk a little bit more about the sexual infidelity, but we don't have the time for that. That would be a conversation for another time because you mentioned something like the cheating one, no, the infidelity, no for you. But there are some, I will be not promoting infidelity here, but I'm saying there are some folks who are still together and infidelity might have entered in the relationship. So we're not saying to guys out there, oh, I found out that and you're still together, you're saying, oh, you know, we're not saying that.
What don't get what I said is it would be harder for me to conceptualize that one. It would have to be something that I would have to, God forbid, if it were to happen, see how I do it, but that one is harder for me to wrap my mind around than I will have to see how I deal with it in the actual situation, but
absolutely.
I'm looking forward not to find out.
I agree 100%. I agree 100%. Amen to that. Okay, so let's talk about finances, which we touched on a little bit. Do you think because the man is the head of the household that he should take care of all the expenses of the home?
Absolutely not.
I thought that was an absolutely yes that she was about to say. I thought that was an absolutely yes. You know, she said it absolutely. I thought she was about to say absolutely yes. Because for some marriages, it is absolutely yes.
No, I don't agree. I think someone had asked me this question just a couple of weeks ago, and I think if the woman role is supposed to be help to a man, my help can come financially as well. Why can't my help be to help pay for some bills in the house or to help ease his burden? Because at the end of the day, you don't want a husband that's stressed out either. So I believe in working together in most areas. I don't believe that this is your responsibility and this is my responsibility. I think that we should come together and who is better able to handle it at the time, and that's the person that should do it.
I don't know, Sheldon strike me to be someone who wants to take care of all the bills.
Yes, good.
I don't know why, but you just strike me as somebody who said, babes, I got it.
I always thought, Shaka, I can't take you from your mom's or your dad's house and bring you into something where you're less comfortable than you were before. I believe that a man is a provider for his family first and foremost, and then himself. So I gotta make sure my wife eat and my wife comfortable. I gotta make sure that my children comfortable, and then anything else left over. So that is something that I firmly believe within myself. That I need to be able to provide comfortably for my wife and for my children.
Awesome, that's very good. Okay, so we have time for one more question. I have many more, but we have time for, notice I said we have time for one more. Okay, so in terms of romance in marriage, what do you think decrease or kill the romance in marriage? Sheldon.
Lack of time together. Time when we get distracted by especially for men, I know we may get distracted by finances or what have you, and I'm prone to that as well, where okay, have bills to pay, your children need this, your wife wants this, and you want to work as many hours as possible to bring in as much money as possible, but you got to remember what is taken away from. So you say if family I'm trying to provide for, if I'm not present with them, present for my wife to, you know, talk with her, to hold her, to hug her, to kiss her, or there for my children to help them through certain situations, or even as something as small as, you know, changing my son's diaper or bathing him at night, and I'm not present, it defeats the whole purpose of how hard we are working.
Absolutely, I quite agree. Okay, so we can't leave unless we give them some marriage advice. What advice would you give to a young couple seeking to get married but the boyfriend isn't working?
I would say make sure you have a solid plan. And make sure you have not just a plan but steps to execute the plan, because a plan is very easy to come up with, but if you don't have the steps, then how do you know that you're actually working towards it? And planning also includes anticipating finances and anticipating expenses and anticipating what would be required when you come together. So it's important to be realistic in that plan, and I think once you have all those things fleshed out, then you would be able to make a decision as to if this is possible for you, or if you have to wait a little bit longer. Not necessarily cancel, but it may just take a little bit longer than you may want to.
Yes, I quite agree. You have anything to add?
Yeah, I would add to that. It also depends on the reason why the person isn't working as well. I agree with my wife 100%, but it's also, is the person motivated to work? Is it just like a temporary dip right now, but you know the person has, you know, greatness inside of them or what have you, or doesn't matter, like, man, I do 1 or 2 interviews and I don't feel and it ain't not there for me, so I sit down home and relax. Like, it depends on the drive and the ambition and the motivation of that person as well. So everything that my wife said, but I also would say you also have to know the person that you are planning on getting married to, and if it's something and what their personality is like as well, and if it's something that you know, okay, this person is just a down right now, but I know that this person will do great things in the future.
I love both of the answers, that's the truth. I'm trying to see if my battery have enough space, not space, time left for me to ask this other question that came to me while you were saying that. But when you were saying that, there was a question that formed in my heart for you. And this one will be for you, Sheldon, as you said that, because yes, and you can make it as short as possible. Would you advise post-counseling for marriages?
Yeah, definitely, 100%. I think marriage is something that constantly needs to be built, and that's actually why me and my wife, we are actually part of a marriage company called Elite Marriage Company, and they just help you build tools that you use in everyday marriage in order to make the marriage better and easier, in order to make the marriage elite. So I believe in like investing in yourself. So how people go and study at school, university, or whatever, invest into your marriage as well. There are persons out there that know more about marriage than we did, and if we want to have what they have, we need to follow some of the examples and the principles that they would have applied.
Yes, I love that. I'm going to have you share with me the Elite Company's name and group and all that, so we can add it to this video for persons who are interested, that they can be part of that as well. Yeah, so no, we don't have time for I'm looking at that battery and I want to make sure you guys end well today. That's why I said, that's why I turned it to you. I figure you have something up your sleeves. As you were speaking, on a little break just now because my battery actually died, yes. And we were talking and it was so candid that I was like, guys, I wanted for you to share that. But that happens all the time, and they're going to be back because we discovered that we actually have something in common, which is we love to know that when you're married and you've gotten married, the process continues. You can go and have marriage counseling, you can go and have marriage retreats, marriage talks, and watch marriage videos. And what else would you share on that?
Any place that you can go and get more wisdom from, more knowledge, more tools that would increase the what do we want to
The betterment of your marriage.
Correct. The quality
Yes.
of your marriage, I think that you should be involved in, and there's
Yes.
nothing to say that it is bad,
Yes.
but nothing is wrong with wanting to make it better.
Correct.
And as I was sharing with you, my husband always uses a car for an example.
Mhm.
You don't wait until the car is broken down
No.
before you realize
Yes.
that it needs to be
Yes.
serviced. You take it to be serviced twice a year.
Absolutely.
So I think that these conferences and retreats and talks on marriage and books on marriage
Yes.
and videos on marriage, these are like services to your marriage.
Yeah.
Wow, I
And
love
you
that's
can-
powerful.
You can always learn something new or even be reminded of something that you
Yes.
already know.
Yes.
That's really powerful. No, really thanks for sharing that. Even though we were at the end, but I thought that it was really important to add that bit. We're gonna sit down. We're gonna have that conversation, and you guys are gonna share a bit more about the elite group that you're part of,
Sure.
and just talk more of how it helped you guys as well in your marriage,
Yeah,
being
really.
there and so forth. Because I am a believer of that. If I could read, watch a video, or I have books on my tablet that I read, there's a part for his and for him, and there's a part for her, and all of that. I love stuff like that because I love what you said. It's about getting a better quality marriage.
Exactly.
Which is beautiful. And that's what we want to aim for. You want to have a marriage that lasts for 10, 15, 20, 30, 50 years, you're going to have to put in some work. You're going to, as you said, you're going to have to service that marriage, okay? Service with love, service with compassion, service it with care, service it with being patient, service it with long suffering. As you mentioned, you're talking about Corinthians, right? Service it with kindness, and being good to each other. You're gonna have to service it, and part of servicing it means going to someone who knows better and who's anointed and equipped in that way to help your marriage. So thank you guys, that was awesome. Thank you. You guys always give me a good show. So thank you guys, that's it for today. I know for certain there's something in this video for you. Come on, be honest with yourself. There's something here for you, right? I know that you're saying there's something here for you. If there's something in this video for you, just come below, let me know. Listen, that video really blessed my life. I'm not married, I'm married. If you are not married, say I'm not married, but I can take away what the couple shared from myself. And if you're married, just embrace it and use it, okay? As my sister said, be humble and use what's for you. Me, I'm always telling myself, I don't have this, I don't have that, I need to grow, I need to. Humility.
Yeah.
Yes? And humility in marriage, it is beautiful. Would you not agree?
100%.
100%. So thank you guys, God bless you. But before we go, excellence is a choice, and all you do aim for.
Excellent.
Did you guys like how they say excellence? It sounded like so like excellence.
You quick for me, that's why.
Excellence. It's like, what is that?
Okay, let's go again.
Let's go again. Come on. Excellence is a choice, and all you do aim for.
Excellent.
Hey. That's what I'm talking about, guys. We move in excellence, we speak it, and we are bold with it. Amen.
Amen.
That's one of the things we can actually be bold in is being excellent. So God bless you guys.